Version1 have suffered their first game loss in Game Changers all year. I didn't know we were going to start off with a banger like that amazing today. Shopify Rebellion have put a dent in that armor, and we have a series on our hands, everybody. Heather, at the start of this, we were talking about Flowerful's Killjoy and how that was going to do as the anchor of the team versus the double duelist. Like, we all thought she was going to get overwhelmed and run over.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a lot of pressure going up against those double duelists, especially when the double duelists are starting on attacker side, but I thought Flowerful held beautifully. We also saw a number of great moments, like we saw Sonder had some incredible plays, some good usages of the ult there. There's also some really fun Sky versus Sky battles with KP and Alexis, but every team had some pretty nice moments. Floor had some insane flicks, but at the end of the day, like, Shopify had such good control of the economy. They didn't necessarily need to rely on a lot of those hero plays to win it.
Midway through that second half, when you started to see the comeback, we were looking at the scoreboard, and honestly, I was like, this is kind of a weird game from V1 in that there isn't much separation from top to bottom between the players, which is kind of what we're used to seeing. You've got the star player of Floor, who's usually a far bit ahead, and you've got sacrificial players who are setting up players like Alexis, who's constantly, sending out flashes. We talked about that in the pregame. But here it felt like everyone had to step up on an individual level at some point to try to win rounds. It just wasn't enough. And it does largely feel like Shopify Rebellion saw small mistakes being made by V1 and capitalized big time. That is important. When you play against a good team, it doesn't matter how good they are going to make mistakes. What separates the winner and loser is the one who capitalizes, and that's what Shopify did here. They took advantage of those openings, and they crushed it.
Bach, we were excited for the double duelists for Version1 on their offense, which they kick off the game, the first half on offense. What were your expectations? How many rounds were we expecting Version1 to take having the double duelist on offense? Because we thought they were going to shine on that side.
It's a pure explosion comp. You've got the double dive with the Raze and Jet. You've got Sky as well with the dogs and flashes. You've got Astra there to clear out because they don't necessarily have to worry as much about smokes. They can use some of the stuns and pulls while Viper sets up the wall. It's very much set up to play quickly and kind of explode onto a site, which puts the pressure on your anchors, looking specifically at your Viper and at your KJ. And that's why we were looking at Flowerful coming into that map. In the first half, Flowerful was very influential in several rounds. And that was definitely a key factor in them keeping V1 from gaining control of the map. But it also was V1 kind of making a few mistakes and throwing away some situations like this one. This is a 1v3 with the Viper ult down. This really shouldn't be winnable.
Yeah, I think their positioning, obviously, they were not set up to trade here. Obviously, Mel is backing up to play the post plan, not necessarily expecting the other two to die that early. So this was really nice round from Flowerful here. And again, maybe not necessarily at the top of the scoreboard, but like so many impactful rounds, like shutting down the explosiveness of that double duelist comp.
The clutch power. And Heather, speaking of clutch, like, we kind of thought Version1 were coming back in the second half. Like, it was like light bulbs were turning on. How did they adapt so fast? They had us going there.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while too. They won the pistol and they lost the next round. So again, the economy started to fall away from them. But again, they had those hero moments. And we mentioned at the top of the show, like, Mel doesn't want them to have to rely on the hero moments, but they did have to for that comeback. We saw Neuer with some really nice rounds. Sarah had that incredible 4K hold. Unfortunately, it just was a little too late. They didn't get enough rounds in that first half.
Well, we still have another game, and wow, that was already a super exciting one. Shopify are on match point. Let's see where we're going to next. This is Version1's pick Bach on Haven. How does Version1 approach Haven after such a narrow loss?
I don't think their approach is going to be different, but I think maybe their mentality might be a little bit different. I think there is a little bit of frustration. It's like, oh, come on. This is like throwing a single in the bottom of the ninth of a no-hitter. Like, you had it in your hand. All you had to do was get through the last 3 innings. And they wanted to have that record coming out of Game Changers and going into Champs. When they go to Champs, it was inevitable. They were going to lose a map to somebody. It's the peak of competition throughout the year. So to lose it here is probably a little bit frustrating, and I would imagine they're coming into Haven with a bit of fire. They do have a maybe minor switch up in the agent comp compared to what we see from Shopify Rebellion. They both play similar setups. It's single duelist with a Sentinel, double controller. But as you can see on version 1, they like to go with the Harbor instead of an Omen. And instead of a Jet, we get a Raze on the opposite side. This is where I start to get concerned, Sapphire, because I'm not a huge fan of Raze, and we saw it yesterday sort of awkwardly not work for Bunny Bee. I worry that this could be a problem potentially for Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, it's an agent we've seen not to have the most success lately necessarily on this map. Obviously, it's a comfort pick for Sonder, though.
Sure.
But then on the other side, like, this is one, and we were talking about, like, seeing Floor third on the scoreboard, very rare. Almost never happens. I'm curious if it's the only time it's ever happened. But obviously, Floor, Jet, Haven, it always makes so much sense, and she absolutely pops off on this map.
What do you think the impact of the Harbor is going to be, Heather? Because this is kind of another unique pick besides the duelist preference there.
Well, it's going to be another one where it's just going to be very annoying for, I think, Shopify starting on attack, having that double control with the Harbor and Viper. It's going to be very annoying on those entries.
Well, let's see how annoying version 1 can be. I wouldn't be very annoyed out of game 3. I think they'd be annoyed to go down 0-2 into the lower bracket. Shopify Rebellion are at match point. So let's send you back over to Doug and Bala.
Thank you so much. Now we turn our attention over to Haven, where we have that Harbor Viper comp that we've talked about a little bit. You know, we saw a lot of a surgence, then a little bit of quiet, and then resurgence. But on the other side, Ball, we're going to have the Viper Omen to counter.
Yeah, it's a very interesting actual matchup here, because I think a lot of the teams that V1 has been going up have not been running a Viper on the other side. I think V1 is completely convinced that Harbor Viper is the way, and I completely agree too. But we've definitely seen a couple teams work with this Viper Omen very, very well, and kind of applying the same concepts to the map as well. And I think those dumb smokes work wonders when you're actually trying to take some control of space. But on the flip side, the Harbor, Mel has been doing such a good job with it when it comes to map control, when it comes to shutting things down. So we'll have to see how Shopify's prep is against this specific comp. Version 1 has been absolutely feasting. I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, they're undefeated on this map. And I was like, wait a second, they're actually undefeated on like every map in Game Changers, but not anymore.
But the stat is still true. Have not lost a map on Haven. They continue to push towards C right now. You see some of that Harbor utility already attempting to dissect some of the lines that Shopify would have otherwise.
I'll take that trade. That's a great trade there. A Trailblazer to get the high tide out, to make him scared, to lose some information on that C side. See if Mel wants to go a little bit more aggressive in towards Garage to clear it out. She's calling over Sarah right now, and they will do that. Trailblazer from Alexis didn't see anything, but they are kind of aware that they'll walk up behind it, the stack. Shot the turret.
My goodness, it always feels like we're standing on a knife's edge. But the guns erupt and Floor gets away. Alexis gets a kill, traded right back. And they just set the line of scrimmage a little bit further. Floor tucked in with the frenzy, trying to find a kill. Cannot catch up to Panini. As Sonder gets another.
Movement there to take down Floor for Panini was fantastic. Absolutely perfect. And an early high tide for them to allow this player in Park to get completely isolated off from the rest of the team, and they're going to swing on her. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Lauer on the counterpunch. Mel left alone. A 1v3 quickly turns into 1v2. KP 22 HP. Meanwhile, Mel much healthier. Cove still in hand. Spike ticking away. You see the setup that they have. It's clean. No tap. Nothing to threaten it yet. There it is. There's the tap. No challenge. There it is. Swings back out. 2 bullets. There it is. The Cove clearing. What a shot from Mel. A 1v2 from the leader for version 1.
Clutch.
Step it up big time. And around that, they definitely hurt by losing on split. One of the reasons why that streak started off so well from Shopify.
One enemy remaining.
I love the couple new ideas here from Mel, actually, with the high tide. Especially that one to isolate away the people who are playing the backside of default there, the people down in hell as well, so that they could just run out and take the duels into graffiti, into short. And then, as well, when they don't get any duels, to flip onto that player down in dark. Didn't quite work out to net them the clean round win, but Mel's still able to come up with it. That's huge. Also love the setup from Alexis and Floor. Doesn't net too much, but here's where trouble started after their 1 pistol round win on split. They got way too frag hungry and left themselves losing another eco.
Again, you see some of just how oppressive a Harbor can be on this map. You have full control of Garage. You have an alarm bot on the other side. You have a wall that's denying access into the entry of B, or at least vision of it.
Well, that's interesting. That's Sarah's Oracle on the left side of B. Normally, that's actually positioned on A to support the players on the A side, but instead here on B, that's perfect read about what Shopify want to do and kind of funnels them if they did want to go into that B site to fight for A link instead. And multiple times, Shopify want to poke, but multiple times they're met with a wall of water that they have to wait out. High tide's back up too. Come in any second. Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Oh, it's missed actually. There's a gap here for KP to actually work through.
Well, I mean, if there wasn't the gap, they're still running out of time. They're going to have to do something about it anyway. Panini with an absolutely filthy shot.
Yeah, and they've given up garage control and C-Link control. Plus the spike planted right now. V1 have to work and clear a lot. There's no mollies though. No way getting finding 1 kill on the C-Link. Can they find Saunders? They do. That's easy work for the rest, but maybe 2 kills. No, just 1.
He tries to find a timing, tries to find some space. All she does is find a quick trip into the next round. Spike continuing to tick away as they've kept it competitive. This is a 2v2, still just classics for Shopify. But they're hanging on to control. They're hanging on to the side. Alexis is so weak. Flores on the switch. Well, she saves the day once more.
Flora with the Marshall is just so much fun to watch sometimes. She's just so quick with it. She's always going for crazy no-scopes too. It's ridiculous. And still a kind of not great eco there for anti-eco for V1.
30 seconds left.
Frequently. They're losing these and also making it really close. I think Mel going down here was a key point where I was like, hold on, this is a chance now for Shopify because she still had that cove up, which was the pressure they needed to actually tap on the spike. I think this A main control coming out from version 1 looks like a cascade maybe down from Mel. Instead, she gets peeked out completely. They're just trying to duel it. There's 3 people here. Floor only with a Sheriff. Drop the Bulldog over to somebody else.
Still managing to get one. You've got 3 other Bulldogs up for version 1, and you have a lot of space taken. Look at how far up Sarah is.
I think the alarm bot just got recalled by Flowerful too, so Sarah.
She's got to know. Presence confirmed. Pressure applied and shots delivered. Sarah gets her kill and gets away. What a nuisance.
For V1 to come out on top right now and with that advantage is huge, given the fact that that first pick was Mel down A long.
Benefit of having double controller, I guess. Remember when at the opener to split, it was a bonus for Shopify as they put together a very impressive snowball that ultimately could have been the difference maker. Now version 1 seeming to do a bit of the same. Heavy numbers their way. Still 2 Bulldogs up. Still the Sheriff for Floor. Shopify have established some control on B.
Floor did pick up the Vandal too on the flank. There's 2 players coming in right now. Will they pivot? Will anybody watch?
Yeah, will they even know?
One enemy
Spike goes down just in the nick of time. Panini swinging forward, trying to get ahead of it and cannot. That's a bonus in favor of V1.
Yeah. And for what Shopify did on that first map, I think V1 are just hungry to start out with an early lead here. Absolutely try to stomp them on this next map. This is, again, in my mind, when I've been watching V1 in the last couple of series that they've played, especially this new iteration, now that we know what's going on in this new patch, now that we know there's kind of a Yoru meta on some certain maps, and here on Haven, V1 completely buying into the Harbor Viper. This has been one of their better maps. This has been one of the maps where I'm like, not only are they kind of doing some creative ideas, but they're really stealing the best of the best from teams like Loud, teams like NRG, from the regular VCT season. And Mel, that's what I love about her IGLing the most, is how willing she is to yoink and twist ideas. And Floor with the op now too, finding early kills. This is one where I think much more easily she's going to be able to find access to those early duels, because on split, like I said, she was not really finding those. And she has such a high win rate. I think she's at 70% first kill success when she actually goes for a duel. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, though, Noya getting picked off through the one Guardian that Sonder bought up.
That's a utility down now. The alarm bot is not going to be a factor anymore. The turret isn't either. Shopify seemingly concerned about the potential of a flanking towards A. You've got Sonder who has to go back and clear it with the one Guardian that you mentioned. Now heading towards C. That should be some confirmation as Sarah sees the dog fly by. Cascade, and you got the paranoia and the flash. Surely that's everything. Reckoning invested from Mel. Causing chaos on the site as the High Tide tries to dissect and separate them. And that's exactly what it does. Mel and Sarah hold the line.
That's beautiful. Again, that High Tide coming in too, that they're all running through. Isolating the fights from anybody in the back who's, that support utility is coming into it as well. Sarah behind a little gap, back plat.
30 seconds left.
That they can't clear easily, especially with that High Tide with the Reckoning coming in. There's too much going on. Just giving herself a little pocket. As soon as that pocket surprises them, Mel comes through swinging as well. Timing is so flawless here for version 1 so far. Floor switching towards the B side. Nobody's challenging. They are hitting towards this A. They got success in finding a first kill all day long. This time, though, one side shut down completely. You can see Panini with the fear about somebody could walk all the way up through this pit. But at the same time, look, Sarah has so much space to fall back into short and play. On the front side of Graffiti, this is still coming, though. With the Seekers to follow the showstopper. Nothing found?
Where did that thing go? Somehow the pit is still up. I thought for sure she was going to get pushed out of it. But it's still causing problems. One kill found. Finally, the trade with that the pit will fall. Mel from Graffiti, the filthy shots keeping him in it. Now Noya in a 1v2.
Spike planted.
Healthy forward as well.
Oh.
A chance at a clutch. Some position given away. See a couple of warning shots rattle off. There's the first. Spotted.
remaining.
Presence found. Bullets delivered. 1v1. 8 HP. Nothing but a sliver. Faintest of possibilities, and Subui finally gets Shopify on the board.
That's huge from Sabui, just staying put. Call out coming in about the HP. Crazy that Shopify is able to actually survive on this onslaught. Sarah, I think, getting a little too much. Spamming with the Vandal, that's easily fired back, but I think Mel coming in as well.
Last
Kind of wants to drop the pit in that instance. They flood with the Cove through spawn. Floor diving out too. I'm surprised she didn't get one shot off, but I think got blinded when she went for the dash out. And they're investing a lot to get that op online for Floor. So any round loss is
It's costly.
very much so.
Wonder how many more times we're going to see this attempt at things. You see Sonder creeping forward a little bit, using the satchels to clear out the alarm bot. Objective accomplished. That's a nice shot out of Panini. Floor swinging just a little wide.
Finding success at shutting down Floor. When it comes to these top-level games and game changers, this is what's going to make the difference. 4 teams to try to take down this juggernaut.
And now note here for Shopify how much value they found, and it might not seem like much. Yeah, you've killed Floor, but not only that, relieving the pressure of the alarm bot forced version 1 to clear that space out. To rotate that way, and yeah, they were able to get a lot of the space and convert it into pressure from the extremities, and that's why you see this 2-player flank coming through. And attention divided for Shopify. How much more can they get out of it? The Cascade pushing all the way forward, and look at them both creeping up quietly, silently. Does KP know? Yes, the second as well! Finally, Alexis on the counter from up in heaven. Sonder dancing around the site at 2v4 numbers heavily in favor of Shopify. Panini 1 point away from the pit. Alexis and Noya, a bit of the same. There's a flash out the window as she drops down. Not able to convert much more. Too many targets for Noya to deal with. Shopify get their second.
P1 with some huge mistakes here. KP should not be getting 2. Heaven is not smoked there. Alexis has free reign to peek down onto KP, and they know that KP walked into that corner.
And you could even tell, I mean, KP was looking at window.
Yeah.
Right, expecting that.
Yeah, I think she's asking Sabui for a smoke in that moment, but Sabui didn't have any. I think as well, you mentioned that pick on the floor. The entire plan for V1 there was to flash up in sort of a lobby, have Floor get on that line, and then allow everybody else to play on the rest of the map. And that's why you saw them go for that quick walk down mid, because they had no more options. They were already over-rotated towards the rest of the map.
Floor with blades. It's actually Sarah who's able to get a kill. But KP nullifying that. Now Shopify going to continue to push towards C. There's that high tide that we were mentioning. Sarah mollied off and somehow finding the tiniest of slivers and nooks to stay alive with. And that could be the difference maker.
Look how frozen they are on the backside of this wall. Flash coming in. And the cascade to actually get everybody else behind. Mel and Sarah are working this magic on the C side. And this is just the one hero rifle bought up from Sarah, too. That's doing so much damage right now.
And it's crazy that that was set up because the two mollies had a gap.
Yep.
Enough for Sarah to stay alive and enough for Sarah to find value out of it.
Nice cove as well. Mel should be able to pick up a weapon. I'm not sure if that player didn't have any on plat. She already had the stinger. Nobody's recovering that. There, Sarah just dropped the bulldog and picked up the vandal.
Noya still just with the sheriff. Shopify pushed into potentially playing C
30
on
seconds
how this
left.
round is gone.
Look how KP is exploring A-Link right now all the way back towards Gong. Nobody's going to expect that. If rotates come through B, that could be devastating. Lockdown, nothing to break this right here from Shopify.
No, and with only 16 seconds left, you don't have
You
a
have
lot of
to
time to
commit.
think this through. Yeah.
You have to play that long, Cubby. It's not a great lockdown. It's not going to force them all the way back to A lobby like the normal one does.
Leaving a lot
Nobody
of
is
room.
coming
There's
through
KP
here.
on the lurk, as you mentioned. They didn't go through. The rotates didn't
Oh
happen
my
through B.
goodness. Mel!
I thought Mel was going to be aware, but KP continues to find value. Such a stalwart presence for Shopify the last couple of rounds. Noya once again left in a 1v2. First bit of utility cleared out. A tap onto the spike, daring the threat, daring the swing. Nothing found, and there it is. KP clothesline. 8 bullets left. Can Noya pull off the clutch? Spotted, delivered. Flowerful falls. V1 gets a defuse.
So funny.
And she has it too. With time to spare. That is just crazy. I mean, incredibly unlucky there for KP, in my mind.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Mel coming through on the latest of late walkthroughs of B main because she was in garage. She walked through mid, up back into B, and finds the timing somehow to squeeze KP in this. KP still finds value,
Remaining. One enemy remaining.
but they're able to clean up everything else. Such a well-played round from Noya, too, knowing that player's stuck there, knowing they're not going to move, so they can deal with KP on the backside. V1 striking. As we approach the tail end of this first half and a tech pause too, I have to wonder if V1 can achieve the same sort of success that Shopify did in their first half on split, because I think this comp, especially defense side, especially how good V1 has been with this composition, should be finding, 9-3 halves, 10-2 halves.
Yeah. This map is often referred to as their playground. Yeah, Shopify look reinvigorated. They seem awakened, and they've been pushing V1 in a lot of these instances. KP, once again, highlighted in the previous round, has been a hero for Shopify. And she's just been teeing off at just the right moments. But this tech pause throws a temporary delay on the action. As soon as we figure out what's going on, we'll keep you all informed.
And don't forget, this is the first time V1 is playing in a series after losing a map. So you got to wonder what the mental's like, because to me, when I watched, Mel-led teams in the past, Cloud9 White last year, when they had stumbles, it was against the Shopify team back at Champions. Not just that, but a lot of times fell to the pressure. I need to see a Mel that is completely reinvigorated, has learned from their mistakes in their past, and has grown from them.
I am being informed, folks who are hanging out with us at home, I am being informed that it's something going on with one of the players' PCs on the side of version 1. So once we get some of that figured out, we'll get back into the action. But again, if you are just joining us, map 1, it was close. It was a nail biter. There was plenty of action. I mean, you could make a frag movie off of that map alone. Shopify walked away with a 13-11 win on split, and that turned our attention over to Haven, where version 1 has had control for the majority of it on the defensive side.
I do think back to that first map, the pick from Shopify had to be really powerful, knowing that Haven was going to come up second, knowing that if you're going to take down V1, it's most likely going to be in a full best of 3. Obviously, this pick can be countered and hard anti-stratted from the other side, but it's such a solid composition from V1, it's difficult to find holes in it. I think specifically that C-side hit is not working out for them. Mel is constantly getting that wall up. It's too perfect, and they keep freezing. They can't get Sarah out of backside. Answers to that need to be pushing through logs, right? Getting all the way up into spawn control, preventing anybody from pushing in from spawn. While Sarah's going behind that wall, she can't fight at the same time.
Right.
Tactical details on an execute like that are really hard to work out in the middle of an official match. That's something you figure out in server time, so
Yeah.
not easy.
What's crazy here, too, is, we talked so much in the previous map of the fact that Shopify were able to do what no other Game Changer team had been able to do all year and take a map off. And, off of version 1, we alluded to the fact that Bach mentioned on the desk a few times, the fact that it was a 5-round average for the opposition when it
That's
comes to playing
crazy.
against version 1. When you take a look at things on Haven in particular in Game Changers, it's not much better. I mean, there's one map that they won 13-8 that has an asterisk on it, but other than that, it's just been absolute dominance. I'm talking 13-3, 13-1, 13-4, that kind of performance on Haven. And when you look at those numbers, you go, oh yeah, it makes sense why people so highly respect and consider version 1's Haven. They're really freaking good on it, Ball.
Yeah.
Placing
And you can
alarm
see,
bomb. Placing swarm grenade.
I think the one thing that's failed really hard for version 1 is the aggression towards a lobby. And that's something that this Harbor can do a lot of good at, actually.
Yeah.
Let's fly.
Cascade down short while they're still playing in B-Link. That sort of stuff can work wonders. Flora's going to peek out of garage here. And this is Chinese Valorant play right now.
No help at all. Yeah, that was solo. No flash setup, no nothing.
Yeah.
She's punished for it.
Satchel out.
And every time Flora dies early, look at how much B1 has to shift their ideas, their plans. They're fully playing retake.
Oh.
Reckoning gonna come in. Alexis with the flash. That could have really punished. They can't go further than this, can they?
I mean, surely not. That's now the second reckoning the version 1 have had this half, by the way.
Yeah.
A B field finding some value and corralling them over towards A, where you see version 1 continue to trample forward and try to get a timing.
KP's murdering these flanks.
Yeah, I mean, eyes behind her head. Lockdown invested to try to clear them out in version 1. They're posted up, all tucked into the same corner. That's a flawless round for Shopify.
That's a perfect read on what they do with high tides like that. So frequently, especially in situations that don't favor them, right? So frequently, they're running to the farthest side of that high tide, and they're flashing through or walking through and trying to challenge.
Right.
We've seen that 3 times so far, in this game in particular. And you're just completely punishing there by sort of walking through the other side. Nobody's going to watch the other side of that wall. No, absolutely not. It feels like when Floor dies, V1 is desperate to make a play. That's what I was talking about when I'm looking at Mel develop as an IGL. Love this, though. This is a great call. 3 players stacked up. 4 players stacked up close long. Flash not going to find anything, though.
No,
That's
but
a
they're
little
there.
too early on the spring.
That flash is, and KP continues to light up the kill feed.
Here.
It's not quite a plan B there. When they don't catch anything with the flash, they don't see anything with the initial peak, you cannot continue walking there because all of a sudden, all that information that you just gave away is something that Shopify can work with, and KP just does wonders with that information. Shopify has downloaded.
Get out of here. My ult's ready.
It's another kill going in favor of Sonder as you see the pistol round for version 1 or the eco not really finding a ton of value. All the makings of a flawless round for Shopify as they continue to bridge the gap in this half. Well, never mind. I may have spoken a bit too soon. Just a small blemish.
No, you didn't speak too soon. You did not speak too soon.
As Noya tries to make something happen here. But again, Shopify, I mean, these last couple of rounds, they've been very clean. And I think you're right, Ball. It's come off of, that's now, what, 2 rounds where, well, in the previous round and then the one a couple of rounds ago where she got picked off in A main. But Yeah, if they're able to pick off floor early,
Yeah.
Shopify really seemed to have an extra breath of life.
Yeah, and I think especially when Mel starts to be calling on these in the mid rounds, where especially she doesn't have all the tools, KP is just getting the better of her right now. This was the same thing on Split too. We called so many times, especially that defensive side, where Shopify was just reading the situation better, understanding exactly how V1 are going to call. And sometimes it looks like V1, I mean, they go for the nice options, but they're just a little impatient or they're a little too aggro, and it hurts them so much.
Talk
Oh,
about
walking
aggro.
up deep. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. The flash setup, they've inserted Mel, they have an op over her shoulder. 4 players pushing A lobby right now.
This is a lot of pressure on Noya to hold both B and C by herself. Not hold, but at least
Just playing
find
her
some
life.
damage. Pit in. Always risky to pit before the plant. But this pit in particular grabs so much space in B if they allow it to get up and fire. Every flank is just getting destroyed by V1.
If it's not KP, it's Flowerful. Flowerful with 3 on this round.
Seekers pop from KP too. They easily push off Noya.
I mean, what a round from Shopify.
If you're going to be playing retake here, you absolutely cannot be losing numbers everywhere else. You have to be ready to play it for a fast flood, something like that, or at least set up for a set retake. Consistently, we're losing numbers beforehand. Shopify are going to tie this up as the save is called from V1. And tie this up on a half that I really think V1 should be dominating, especially after that beginning.
And the crazy thing is, too, Ball, it's not just that Shopify are going to tie it up. I mean, Shopify financially in a position where they can do more than just take the lead.
Yeah. I think in these situations, this Flora needs to hold on to the op. I don't think she will. No, Panini's under her. Noya needs to hold on to the Vandal.
Yeah, I mean, Flora with a firing squad around her.
Damage done is nothing here to Shopify. They have so much money
Yeah.
accrued in these last 3 rounds in a row that they've won. When you think about adjustments here, it's really, really difficult as we get another tech pause. It's really difficult for V1, who had massive success early, especially holding down that C side, to end up cleaning up the rest of the map. Right?
Yeah.
Especially towards A lobby, and because of that, you start to pull off Sarah from C side. You start to pull off Mel. You start to play four people towards A, which is definitely a setup that's viable. But that's, you know, putting way too much weakness in the places that you used to be successful at, where you used to be strong. And that's why, you know, you're seeing Noya right now stretch super thin. Shopify is able to now start to really put the heat on those places where they, prior to that, were not successful. That's really hard as an IGL, as a team, to really fix up.
We'll see what they're going to be able to do if they can adjust it. I am being told that there do continue to be performance issues, primarily on Flora's PC. It sounds like she's having some FPS drops issues, so we're going to give V1 a moment to figure that out. We're going to cut to a very short video to get you all through this, because I'm sure you're tired of listening to Baller Talk. And we'll see you guys on the other side of this video.
I like Cypher over KJ because, I don't know, he's just cooler, to be honest. I don't really play either except in ranked, but I'll just pick Cypher just because, I don't know. There's a lot of cool clips on Cypher.
Oh, Cypher. I like his tripwire animation. He makes it. That's the only reason I like him.
I gotta go with my girl KJ, you know. Not to be biased or anything, we're both girl bosses. That may be kind of cringe for the people watching, but and I honestly just played her more. This might sound a little funny, but the reason when I was picking Sentinel and I was picking like which agent to like main or play the most, I picked KJ because I thought she was really pretty. Unfortunately, Cypher without the cap is a little off-putting, so yeah, KJ.
I love Cypher just because he's my like mess around agent. Like I have a lot of like funny clips with friends where it's just like late at night, no one's doing anything, it's like an unrated game, and I have trips like going from like the ceiling to some random place. So like I just have like a little soft spot for Cypher. He's just fun.
Definitely Killjoy because you get more ADR when people run in your mollies, and The little turd and alarm bot are cute.
I'm pretty indifferent about Cypher and Killjoy, but if I had to pick between like personal preference, I think I would go Killjoy. I do think Killjoy is a lot simpler to play and has a lot of stall utility to bring in rotates.
Stinger. Good eco weapon. You can literally just have a strat and run it down, and it works like 50-50. So, Stinger.
Oh, you know, old me would say Spectre, but I think I have died to too many Stingers recently that it's wrong to not say Stinger. I think the gun is too good.
I have to go Stinger. It's cheaper and it's very effective on close range encounters. I think even more so than the Spectre. Like, I think I've actually been lasered with the Spectre from long distance as well, if you're lucky. So, Stinger all the way.
Ooh, Stinger. I used to be a Spectre enjoyer, but the Stinger's kind of broken. And the Spectre, since the nerfs, feels like it kind of hits like a wet noodle, so.
Spectre. It's so easy, Spectre, because my Stinger bullets go just nowhere where my crosshair is. So, Spectre.
Oh, I'd always choose the Stinger over the Spectre. I don't see a situation where the Spectre is better.
Sky's guiding light. I think Sky Flash is just one of the best flashes in the game for info and pop flashes, so Sky Flash all the way.
I'm gonna say the Skybird because I think if used correctly, it's really hard to turn. And I've seen a lot of like cooler like mechanics used with it where they like swirl it around so it's like harder to dodge, and I think it's a lot harder to turn than a breach flash.
I'm gonna say breach flash or like flashpoint, just because it's a lot harder to turn if you're the enemy. If you're like playing a Sky, that thing like flies and you can like dodge it so easily. I think it's like the easiest flash to dodge.
I'm gonna go Guiding Light, just because, like, you know, who doesn't love Sky? And like the animal theme is so fun, and there's so many silly clips of the birds. Like, I love the knife or the KO flash and like what it does, but nothing beats the birds, you know.
Sky Flash is definitely better.
Back into the action we go, and folks, you're not going to have to wait for long as we're right back into these things just a few seconds before we start the 11th round of this first half of Map 2 between Version 1 and Shopify. Doug and Bala on the call. Shopify have found a lot of success here in the latter half of this first half, and it seems like their eyes are intent towards A.
Yep. Look at this push down C as well. And I have to also point out this is coming off of a tack timeout after the tech timeout. So V1 had a chance to talk about what to do now.
My ultimate is ready.
Looking at the money, Noya doesn't really have too much. She's hanging on to 2 mollies right now and her alarm bot. Quite sure exactly why that would be the case here. Maybe trying to act like she's not here on this site with the Vandal here. But she's spotted anyways.
Possibly. Now, note here for Version 1, their early round objective was to get the Viper's pit online. That's exactly what they did. Now, do they invest it in an attempt to retake? Noya's already fallen. The Cove out as Mel tries to flood behind it, but Sonder, oh my goodness, Sonder's gonna find an insane timing. That's exactly what she does. It's a flawless round for Shopify as they take the lead.
Take the lead and probably the half too, because there was a lot of investment there, kind of mixed bag for Version 1. And that's exactly the same thing that you saw already. It's a prior round. There's Sonder as well. Exactly the same thing. Just walking through the backside of that wall, finding the perfect timing on Version 1. We saw that before. And it's becoming a tendency that V1 have to clean up. They have to have somebody holding the backside of that wall, or they also have to just use the wall to take the space and not push through. Be patient with it. Something that seems to be lacking frequently right now for V1.
They're reading them like a book. They're in their heads.
I don't think they've won a single aggressive pusher.
What? Where did she go? Where did Floor go? She dashed away and stayed alive, and she somehow hits a kill with the shorty through the wall at what felt like a mile's distance. Floor still dancing around with the op, still staying alive. She's surrounded on either side. Sabui the first to fall, more pressure following up. Panini cleans her up. Now 2v2 left, the Spike tucking tail and getting out of the sight.
And Alexis actually wasting time right now, trailblazering them away. Noya thinks they're going to run towards A, and they might do that. Noya might have the time to cut them off here.
Oh, but
Plus
she's got to go quiet so she's not heard, and there it is. The shot lands.
Just one
Flowerful
tap.
left in a 1v2.
Oh, the flash went
Yeah.
much deeper than Flowerful expected. What
She
timing.
somehow still got through. Turret has to get cleared. She's got time.
She has the
Thinks
molly,
twice about
too.
it.
30 seconds left.
A lot of space given up. A 1v1 again. Alexis in this position. She's found herself a lot in it in this series with mixed success. Can she deliver here for version 1? Flowerful playing this beautifully, really. The turret up, cleared out, spike planted, fully healthy. Flash not hitting. Spotted. First couple bullets go air, they're a bit wide. And the second does not connect for Flowerful as Alexis saves the day for V1 and saves the half.
A must-win clutch for Alexis, and she's been in a few.
Yep.
And here we go. They're down in this game when it looked like they should have been winning. And Alexis is not happy about it. In the final clutch of the half, sure. Honestly, I'd say Shopify with massive success here. Great round from Floor 2. Able to get 2 is crazy in that situation.
Dude, and think about, I mean, the beginning of the round, there was a showstopper at her feet.
Yep.
And
Dashed
the
away
fact
from
that she survived that, yeah, and gets 2 is nuts. You're absolutely right.
Still, though, Shopify with, I mean, all the success, finding almost every kill when they got aggressive, when they tried to flank, and also just calling such a good attack side half. Now on this defense, I mean, you're kind of seeing some of the similar tools, just a different flavor here with the Omen instead of the Harbor. And you also have the Raze, which I think can be phenomenal on defense. They don't have that much combo with it, but still, in a time where Jet is nerfed, when people are wondering what happens to the Jet 1 tricks. Right now, Sonder displaying more of her flexibility, always so good on all the different agents. There's that nade splitting it up again. It's only fluorescent.
But they follow up. Don't leave her alone for long. There's a paranoia. That goes wide. Sarah and Floor get the 2 openers out onto C. And in fact, they turn their attention back B. They've got a couple of players corralled, but actually they might be the ones that are in trouble here.
Spike down, C.
It's spiked down in the middle of C Lake right now. And Sabui clears out Sarah.
It's gonna be trouble. Surrounded. Too many numbers. Too many players to deal with. Version 1 with the second pistol of the map.
Got both so far. Meanwhile, still close game. And I definitely think there's a lot of room still here for Version 1 to find their footing. Whereas Shopify, while they had the reads, especially not getting that last round, that type of thing can make a difference here. Viper Harbor has so many tools to take A main. And a very interesting idea there on the pistol to actually high tie it off and push through garage window into B. Normally it's the opposite way, right? You're pushing through B into C. There's a stack here from Shopify on the C side. The goal right now for V1 is going to be figuring out, is there a stack anywhere, or can they just bully their way onto the B side? Orb through, yeah, they're just going to go for it.
See the Harbor Viper combo and how good it is. You've got the wall that's covering A-Link. You've got, from Viper, excuse me. You've got the Harbor wall covering C-Link. Even sectioning off Gong. There's just so much control that you get.
And finding space for that Trailblazer to clear Gong, too.
Yeah.
Sectioning it off so well. So much control in mid right now. Gotta win these fights.
They're going to have to try to bully their way out of garage.
Ooh, Cascade ended actually kind of short here. Gives a lot of room for the defuse. Not half.
There's really nothing that they have as far as cover for it either. It's not like they have a cove that they can try to stick half, but somehow it was got a little bit closer than people would have expected. Sarah and Noya fall, but Version 1 get the round anyway.
Yeah, sometimes you actually see teams specifically cascade themselves off so that teams can't push through to stop the post-plant spam from coming down. However, in this case, I got really scared for a second because it looked like they might get half and then somebody might have jumped on with just the Bulldogs, and when the pressure's coming in from Padini, ammo could run dry very fast.
Don't give them ground.
They maintain and do a pretty good job with that anti-eco, despite the 2 kills from Panini.
Flash out from KP. Aggressive. Setting Sonder up, or at least attempting to set Sandra up to get the orb.
That's brutal
KP
right there.
unfortunately pays for it with her life, but Sandra walks away with 2 here. Not
Yeah.
just the orb, but the kill.
Yeah, but you saw why that situation unfolded there. It's KP actually has to step a little forward because of the Sky Flash reduced length or distance that you can throw it. So to get it behind that Viper wall, which is what you need to do to confirm any position about people walking behind, she has to step so far forward. So not only is that coming later, but it's also putting her much more at risk.
Wow. Noya with that 1 nano just cleared both bits of KJ utility that were on B. Alarm bot and nano gone.
Call out.
And not only that, but then she drops her turret to control mid. This is a very nicely played round by Noya so far.
They're just going for a 2-2 split on C right here. Alexa's the only one with just a sheriff. Everybody else with some heavy weaponry, but 2 players here, Panini and Flowerful.
I mean, they're forced to play on Cypher dealing with this double wall cop, but that's exactly what Shopify are comfortable doing. Neither of them giving any of the space up. What a hold.
I think V1 scratching their heads on once again how Shopify are making such good rotates and positioning from their players. That's what I was talking about KP. That orb tap coming a lot later. But look, there's 2 players here. Both the KJ and the Viper. It's impossible to push through that wall that they had put up. And V1's trying to dry walk after finding so much value. I mean, they pushed them off A lobby, they pushed them off of B. They don't have really any information about what's going on 2 sides of the map yet. So they dry walk and it just fails miserably.
And Flash is just really not finding what they would expect. Tricky here for Sarah, though. If you want to continue to go any further, you're going to have to deal with this one way by Sabui. And that is a devastating angle. Investing the dog here, too.
Yeah, Sabui's pushing off of it. That wall will keep Sarah safe, though, and I think
Yeah,
they
that flash was
feel
short.
out. No, but I think they understand that there's a push coming in here because they're calling everybody back to try to punish on short, despite their earlier being a one-way.
Bot coming back.
Oh, my goodness. Yep.
Very unlucky. The turret was down in mid, so no reason to have it up, especially when you want to cool down back.
Surely Panini doesn't dare jump again. You see that one-way refreshed by Sabui. This time nobody holding it. How much attention do you draw? None. She's dead now.
Here's the push over towards A, but there's 2 players here again, and Fluorescent completely neutered.
KP's just been so freaking good. The tracking onto floor cleans her up, but you're not able to deal with Sarah, not able to deal with Alexis as she gets a second on the round. Flowerful and Panini now trying to rotate over and get to A as quickly as they can. You got to deal with a Molly, you have Harbor utility, you have Viper utility. This pit is huge.
Does it cover hell? Yeah, it covers Sarah's position, but she can play on the backside of this. It's going to be really difficult to swing out without a flash during a 2v3.
Right, and I mean, look at Mel's position too. It's planted for them. This pit doesn't, I mean, it gets them a little bit of space, but...
That's too much, too. I mean, V1 just use it to back off. It'd be risky for them otherwise to do so, but now...
Right. Oh, that angle's a little tough. But it works out. The numbers advantage that Version 1 have proved to be exactly what they needed. Alexis with 3 on the round, Version 1 with the 2-round lead.
I think that initial hold on that A side, as you actually had Noya go down on C, when that happened, when that hit came through and Flora died immediately, I was wondering, I was saying, this hold looks like it's going to be good. There's multiple instances, even when those kills came in onto KP. The other player who was holding, Sabui, making it all the way around the smokes, all the way into the cubby by long. I thought she was going to get more.
Toxins going up. I've got your trail.
Or picked up. Seekers invested. As Version 1 seemed to push forward, or want to push forward.
That seems like a misfire there. To me, it looked like, especially the way they were walking up, looked like they wanted to dry walk up again. I think as well, though, seeing all 3 Seekers go up through C.
Scout destroyed.
Rather than, going over towards garage or anything like that might have deterred them too. But I definitely think they might have wanted to dry walk there instead of pop Seekers and try to execute.
Nonetheless, that tool no longer at their disposal. Version 1 of Frozen. Down C.
This is the kind of approach I much prefer here on their anti-ecos.
Reckoning, dash forward.
Spotted two.
Remember, instantly got popped last time. Has to use both smokes to stay alive and buy some more time. Pops out, gets the kill. Reckoning continuing. Pop off on the site, and they've created some space. They've established some control, and it's just Panini here. With the Sheriff in hand, no kills found. Another for version 1.
And the fundamentals you can see there towards the end. It looked like Sarah was going to go for the peak, but then she realized, okay, this is my position. This is where I fragged out in that first half. Let's slow things down. As soon as this fuel goes, she has nowhere more to hide, so they could double swing. Perfect end to that round where everything was controlled. Despite Floor going way past her smokes, diving in, only finding one.
What do they do here? A 3-round lead. They've won 4 out of the last 5 rounds. They have the pit in Sarah's hands, too. But also worth noting, on Shopify side, you've got, what, 3 big ults coming up soon? Sonder now 1 step closer to the showstopper.
And nobody's fighting there with Floor against Sonder, despite the fact that that fight was going on for like 3-4 seconds.
Yeah, it felt prolonged, didn't it?
Floresta trying to get a little bit more after the initial duel. And these are rounds that on defense were falling apart quite frequently, but I think on attack, a lot more tools still here. The double controller.
Flowerful has taken a lot of space C.
But he needs
Tucked in
spotted
cubby.
there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And again, that dog coming through the back, they're just going to molly Panini down. They missed, though.
Yeah, try to spam through.
They didn't get spiked down yet.
Yeah, they haven't committed to the plant. They dropped the cove, but then they pushed back. They're trying to fight back site. I don't know if they're trying to draw out specific utility or what, but...
No, they're just trying to punish, I think, completely tunneling on the fact that Panini's back site.
Yeah.
I don't think that Molly's going to cover all that space. Shopify's ahead of this. Sabui just TP'd out on site. The orb's up already.
3
They're
players
fighting.
here. Saunders one of them, and the kill's already found. There's the showstopper as well. Mel having to pause in the smoke with 30 seconds left. Do they have time to go anywhere else? There it is. Ult doesn't land. Mel does. KP on the trade. Number Shopify. As Noya is creeping forward. Panini unaware.
It's 14 seconds. Where's the spike going to go here?
You gotta hurry. You gotta get there quick. Noya has to be able to hold some control on the Flowerful. It's exactly what she does. The spike should go down. KP has been excellent for Shopify. Can she do it again? A 1v2, a flash in hand, and she's taking the scenic route.
This
But
is
they
crazy.
know they're already rotating that way. One found patience on the second.
Flash is not going to tag. That's false info right now. It's planted for C-Link, and Noya is in there, but that flash, false info for sure. KP's got to be worried about everything else. Wait, this plan is not great. This plan is not great at all.
And Noya's taking the long way around. Oh, KP pulled off at half, and that could have been the difference maker. Completely guessing as to where Noya could be. And Noya strikes at just the right time to get version 1 to 11. I wonder, too, because we've seen KP in those situations a couple of times now, where it's always half, and then she pulls off.
Yeah, every time.
To fight.
Yeah,
every single time this series, we've seen her do that. And that right there was the difference maker. That was her demise.
Yeah, and you can actually start to see, I mean, in multiple instances, I've talked about the tendencies of now both these sides, KP and that specific one. I don't think she has many more options to do that in this specific round, but you can almost guarantee yourself that she's getting off in that case, given what we saw in Split. And another series, too. Great play from Noya.
And an incredible opportunity for Shopify that just slipped out of their hands.
That
Version
V1
1 showing some face C and then pulling back.
I love that. Again, on this anti-eco, where they've been struggling before, I like them walking up all the way and trying to punish while there's no smoke up. Because Sabui, in this case, is going to be hurting for getting extra smokes in this when it is an eco. Obviously, Sheriff's purchased up, though. But that's the way you can get some early picks and also find out the stacks that are there. I mean, they've gone completely full pug mode right now. Just dry walk as much as possible.
Killjoy utility at the ready. First cleared. The dash proc, the smoke out, and the space taken.
30 seconds left.
You see how methodical everything is. The cascade to push forward to get the pit down. You've got a dog that clears out short so that Noya can take some more space. They have full control of A here, Ball.
And the pit invested again on the anti-eco. V1 not taking any chances, but this could get them up to match point, so I respect it. Alexis can spot here for Noya on the cross as well.
Drone flash used to confirm that there's no one currently standing out. Mel waiting for anyone to drop.
They're looking for exits right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, the money for V1 isn't bad.
No, not at all. Noya could drop one too.
So it's not really going to find it in time. And honestly, you've got to be careful that you're not feeding over more orbs. Mel's 1 point away from having the Reckoning.
Point two. Not quite there, but Shopify, I mean, I think in that instance, there's really, you're hoping for miracles. They've had some this game already.
Yep.
So just going for exits as much as they can. That could have maybe given them the room to start up with these 5 rounds that they'll need to tie this game up. Maybe. But at this point, no. The bank is still there. Right there. No matter how much they do damage here, no matter how many rounds they win, it looks like V1 are going to be able to purchase forever.
Yeah, given how these last couple of rounds have gone, Ball of 5 rounds feels like a marathon's length. Quiet and patient for V1 at the opening of this round. You see the buy for Shopify. They have guns, they have rifles, they have shields, they have everything.
Yep. There's only been one round won for Shopify on this second half.
This is so aggressive. I mean, they invest the high tide to clear enough space so that they can clear out the Killjoy utility, and they drop their own lockdown.
This lockdown is so difficult to actually read. It does give space in the back. Behind that wall again for Flowerful, but the dog should spot her.
Fluorescent trying to find the space. You gotta be careful here. Yeah, that's trouble. Looked like she got caught.
Spike's down back sight here.
Shopify have a shot at this. A really nice one, but Noya and Alexis trying to punch back. It's exactly what they do, but Alexis cannot finish the job. Shopify get their 8th.
Cover going on. Not super clean though, so when you're talking about damage and you're thinking back to that last round too, and you're thinking about what exactly you need to make this comeback happen, that type of round is not quite enough. So they're going to need again to fight on where it's not super even footing. It's a great hold. Once again, when it's not super quiet here from V1, Shopify is making the right reads. That's the second round of this defense for Shopify. 4 to go to tie this up and bring it to OT and defeat V1 in their first series ever as a team.
The thing is for Shopify here too, I mean, you're still going to have to get through, well, what? Balla, you're the smarter one of the pair here. How many gun rounds are they going to have to get through here? 2?
At the very
Given how
least,
much money they have?
It's so many. Probably 3 actually, yeah, with the 4 rounds. Fluorescent has knives still. Yeah, probably 3 here. Especially because loss bonus is going to start to come up. Maybe even 4.
No free round, no easy round for Shopify. If they're going to pull this thing off, it's going to have to be done the hard way.
That's nice, though. Taking down Sarah forces this hit to come through long here. Fluorescent's not even going to be close for this. Noya's taking point. And they have pushed off Flowerful, but they've got a lockdown here. And there's nothing to break it.
Nope. Going to commit to the plan.
And this is a big lockdown. Remember, there was a difference. That first half V1 used on that was up in heaven. This time, this one pushes them all the way back in lobby, so Floor has to kind of run way back. Reckoning still on tap on the plant.
Boy, that Reckoning is good. There was nothing to clear out short as well, so Floor's able to fill the space that was previously vacated. Seekers dropped, KP dead. As Floor might do it on her own, Panini on the counter. Numbers in favor of version 1 as the spike ticks away.
Once again, Cascade holding for the spam.
Panini's got one. Powerful's gotten it to half, and that's all it's going to be. Version 1 punch back, and they're taking us the distance. We're going to bind.
That's version 1's playground. You can see why in that second half, just absolutely dominant. Only 2 rounds given to Shopify the entire time. Despite the fact that, again, I think Shopify was doing a great job reading the situation. I think version 1 digging deep and just going kind of for a Puggy style, I have to say. I like the calls, though. I love when teams are mixing in, some executes, fast plays, like floor dashing on the site with some flashes and some dry walks, because I think that really leans itself to fighting against KP's calling style and their defense style.
I mean, it worked, right? Alexis was big again. Floor continued to do her thing, and you're right, Mel really just seemed to find her footing in the latter moments of Haven to take us to bind, to take us to the decider. And honestly, given the clash between these two Titans, we wouldn't have it on any other way. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break.
I wish for the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro. Sean.
Do you mean this one, the one with titanium? Switch to Verizon. You can trade in any iPhone and get the new iPhone 15 Pro on them.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a new iPhone 15 Pro on us, only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.